Alright, hello everybody and welcome back. It is Jeff again, coming to you from the Mindcrack server, just where we left off. And I'm in this ravine that spread out this way some more, it appears. So let's get rid of this creeper and let's move on. I already see more iron that I want. And he's gone. So, many people pointed me to a website yesterday after my episode that apparently there's a website out there specifically dedicated to saying what all of the people from different states tend to call themselves on a regular basis. And I thought that was pretty hilarious. Some of them I was not expecting, like, oh god, I already forgot the one it was. One of them was like Udians or something like that for people from Utah, which I was not expecting, if that's really the case, or if I just made that up. I don't know. You know, either way, it makes it fun. But thank you for the multitude of people who guided me to that website, as well as the people who participated in the comment section, because it was it was really fun to watch all the people talking about where they're from and what they call themselves, even if it's not the, you know, accepted acronym, or not, I guess it wouldn't be an acronym, the accepted phrase. I thought it was very entertaining. So, either way, we are back to this cave. My inventory is quite full already, but I'm still going to continue on because I know that there's that abandoned rail shaft that I want to get to. There's probably a lot of caves that are splitting off the side of this, but I bet the rail shaft will lead me there. I think I'm going to go back and try to find how I got here from there. And wonder why that guy was not looking at me at all. He was more like, look, a wall. This wall is very entertaining. And in his mind, it probably was. If I only had some blaze rods with me, I could make an ender chest, which would be great, because I would like to get some of this stuff to a point of safety. I just hope I don't get bashed into this. This whole mission was for iron, so I'm trying to make sure I get all the iron I possibly can out of this excursion. I hear you. Are you above? I think you might be above. Probably go cut this water off up here. Well, I guess now that I've gone down there, I'd rather keep the water, because the water will keep enemies at bay. So I came out of... look at all those creepers. I'm pretty sure it was this way that I came out of. There it is. See that gold? I knew we'd get back to it. Oh my god, I almost died twice. There we go. Not only was there gold, there was more iron. There was one piece of gold. Are you serious? Am I out of room for this stuff again? I am. Goodbye. No, web. And stone. I don't need you. So, let's go. Oh, I was hoping to make it all the way to the water. I did not. This way is still dark and treacherous. Got you. You dropped a bow. Was it an enchanted bow? No, but you dropped those. This I need to take out with Silk Touch. Somebody also suggested that I should have done some abacaving, and I mean, they might be right. Abacaving would have been fun in this area, but unfortunately, it's hard for me to get things coordinated properly. And the fact is that I truly need all this stuff. So, granted, I could win the, you know, double, triple, whatever that I earned for myself essentially with abacaving, but the odds are I would also lose it. So I need to make sure I get my own stuff squared away with the iron first, because I do want to finish this project. And having lost, if I lose all the iron to somebody else doing abacaving, then I will feel silly. I don't know why I used that pick right there, but we did. So my final exam, oh, we're already the surface? Or is that a... I'm assuming that's a chunk here. My final exam for my rescue tech class, the first half of this rescue tech class, is actually coming up on Wednesday, and man, I have not studied for it at all. Not that there's too much studying. It's funny, in the fire department classes, many people, so you got to understand, the fire department is not something that requires a college degree. So you can have degrees in like fire sciences and things like that. And many people pursue the career way of going to college to get into the fire department, but it is not a requirement, at least not in Montgomery County where I'm a firefighter at. So a lot of people go in there completely, like, never been to college in their lives, and they learn everything at the academy. I mean, that's one of the beauties of places like fire and used to be the police force, but I think the police force out here is actually still like that, whereas for the most part, police now require you to have a degree, which I guess it just depends on where you're at. So fire could be the exact same way, and it could completely just depend on where you're at. But a lot of the instructors, many of them completely understand, like, here's the textbook, the required textbook for the class. We know better than to know that everybody's going to be reading this textbook. Many people go through a lot of the fire department classes and don't read a thing out of the textbook. That's what you're in class for. You learn how to do things practically. And then, unfortunately, it comes down to the point where the tests all do have completely to do with specific lines out of the textbook, and that, people miss a lot of points because they didn't read the textbook. So there's a back and forth on the need for reading the textbook. I'm one of those people who, I don't read the textbooks that well. I never have in college, the fire department, anything like that. I've never been a big person on reading the textbooks. I like to look at your PowerPoint lectures and go to class as my way of learning. I feel like if I go to your class, I should, in theory, learn enough information that I could pass any of the tests because I was there. You should be teaching me what I'm supposed to know in this class. Now, that makes it hard with things like test banks, because test banks, which are used in a lot of classes, including the one that I utilize online, though we got rid of that this semester, thank God. I was begging, and we finally decided that we don't need to actually test these people with a real test in this class. Like, it's not conducive to the learning environment of what this is, for one. For two, it's where everybody was losing all their points, because the test bank is written by the authors of the textbook, and it literally comes down to sometimes a single line out of the textbook that they will be like, they will take one word out of the line, and the rest of the question will be like a fill-in-the-blank question with that one word missing. And if you didn't read that specific line in the textbook, you're not going to do too well with it, because it's really hard to... Here we go. It's really hard to just know that off the top of your head, because it's just written in a funny way. Like, there's a lot of, this is the gold that we were discussing in the last episode. There we go. It's a lot of gold. Too bad that wasn't a diamond deposit. So, long story short, my instructors for this class are very, very down to earth, and he keeps asking, he's like, has anybody read through the textbook yet? He's like, I suggest you do before the exam. And this is like, we're done with class now. Like, all we have to do is go in for the exam, practical, written, all that stuff. And he's like, I suggest you do, because there will be some, questions directly from the text. But if nothing else, like, read this section, read these things that we have, gone over and drilled into your heads. But he is in no way expecting that we walk in there and we know all these different lines from the textbook. When I took my Fire Essentials class, however, our instructor for that, he started out as our main instructor. Well, he was our main instructor mainly on the practical portion on the fire ground, but he only came in and actually taught the lecture portion of the class once or twice at the beginning, and then somebody else taught it at the end, which actually worked out really, really well. They were both really, really awesome guys, but when we were first learning who this guy was, he made it extremely clear that he pretty much expected us to know every word out of the textbook when we walked into class. And when you have a class that runs more than just once a week, and you're dealing with a lot of people who are, professional people who work on a regular basis, like myself, like, not everybody in class works on a regular basis. Some people are just students. Some people are just people who work part-time jobs, and the only thing they're doing right now is the fire department. But then some people work multiple full-time jobs, like myself, and the time to read a full textbook, because it's not like they're going to be like, read pages 85 through 120 for the next class. It's read chapters 7, 8, 9, 13, 15, and 17 before the next class. And you look at it and it's like 300 pages of like reading or something like that. It's like, sorry, I don't have time for that all the time. So I'm very grateful that the instructors that I have for this class are very down-to-earth people and know how it really is. And they know for the most part that you don't even have to necessarily read the book to succeed in the class, because they're teaching you everything that they feel that you should know between Montgomery County, between MIFRE, which is, Maryland Fire Rescue. They're teaching you in class, and that's what it is. And the thing I love about this class is we had lecture. The very first day was lecture, and then after that, it's been I think there's been an hour of lecture since, and everything else has been practical. We're outside, we're belaying down buildings, we're, pulling Stokes baskets up the side of a hill for, practice. But when we first would talk about it in practice, man, it was trying to just understand what they're saying. It's like, I get it. I get what you're talking about, this 2-to-1 pulley system. I can visualize it sort of, but I don't really have it there in my head. And then we go out and we actually physically build it and pull people with it and realize the mechanical advantage that has just come because we've added these moving pulleys and all this stuff. Dude, it's awesome. This class is so much fun, and it's one of those classes that you absolutely need a practical component for, or you will learn absolutely nothing. And sadly, they do teach this class in many places that are straight up just a lecture class. I guess you could say that about some of the online classes. Some people take some online classes that other people feel that they shouldn't, because you can't truly learn it unless you actually see it. But I guess that all depends on the learner, and I'm a learner. I can learn both ways, but I learn much better visually. I learn much better by way of being able to see what it is that you want to do. You show me a practical application of it, show me how it works, I will understand it forever. You tell me how it's done in a book, I might be able to figure it out, possibly. If I've seen it once before, it might help reinforce, if I've seen it before, I might be able to figure it out a lot easier because I can just reinforce my own learnings with the practical portion of it. But I really need to see that practical side to make things really click together well in my head. And that's one thing I love about this class. This class is so much fun, and I'm kind of dreading the next class that I have to take, because the next class I have to take for promotion is one called Strategies and Tactics, and it is known to be a straight up 6-8 hour class periods of just straight lecture, and that is gonna kill me. Granted, it can be good in some ways, because straight lecture is nice because you don't have to go in with a lot of energy. Granted, I go in without energy because I went in for that 24-hour stint of no sleeping, and I didn't need, the fact that we did practical stuff kept me awake, but I still can't sustain forever if I go in without energy, whereas I can sit in the classroom and kind of nod off in the corner or whatnot. Though it gets worse. That actually makes the lectures drag out for really long. I think I'm changing what I just said to say that actually it's going to be 10 times worse, because I will go in without energy and I will fall asleep, and it will seem like it takes 15 hours for the day to go through. So I guess I was wrong on that saying that I just said on my own. But I'm dreading that class because of the fact that it's just straight up multiple days of lecture. However, I'm excited for that class because it is going to be teach me a lot about initial fireground operations in preparation to become the officer on the engine, which is something I'm lacking in. But it'll be the last class I need, official class I'll need to become the engine officer. And so hopefully by this time next year, hopefully by 6 months from now, I'm actually an engine officer, but I'll need a lot of training, in-station training and stuff to do that. And the thing is, I got to find out exactly when I can fit this class in, because for me, it's really difficult to get the timing in to actually take these classes. Some people think that my schedule would dictate it be easier, and in some ways it is. I only work 3 days a week, which gives me the opportunity to take a class like I'm taking this rescue tech right now is B shift. And it's literally, the B shift is one of the fire department shifts, and it's what do we do the other week? It was Monday, Wednesday, and then Monday, Tuesday, Thursday the next week or something like that was the days that we had classes. So it condensed it down really quickly because of the fact that it was multiple days a week, 8 hours a day, because it's shift work, and I was able to request that off. I'm not always able to request those days off like that, so it sometimes does make it extremely difficult for me to get the time off of work. And like I said, people think, oh, it's easy, you can just request it off. Yeah, the thing is, I can request all I want. Doesn't mean I will get off what I'm asking for, and that's what causes the problem. Is I plan these classes, you know, a few months in advance, and then I request the time off, but then I won't know if I actually have earned it off until, like, you know, 3 to 4 weeks before the class starts. So then I have to try to scramble and get shifts covered and things like that, and it can cause a major problem sometimes. But either way, I seem to have gone through this abandoned railway station because it only seems to be these few junctions. But what did we get on what I wanted? 1, 2, 3, 3.5, 4.5 stacks of iron. That is a great haul thus far. I'm going to continue working down these paths. There's lots of dark areas. There's more ravine. There's a dark spot coming up right over here. What is that? I think there's a dark spot not over here at all. Okay, there's a dark spot somewhere. I've seen it. We will find it. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching this episode, and I will see you in the next one.
Jay Sano, without intro music. Jay Sano, with intro music. Intro music remix.